I'm short of the words to capture how I feel. I mean, standing here. Because when I got the call from Mr. Kingsley that I will be the keynote speaker, initially I said, are you sure you are the one? Because I expected to hear a woman's voice. So he said, no, he's male. I said, and you are into women issues? Because he spoke glowingly about, you could see the passion. So, I mean, to add my voice to all the accolades, Mr. Kingsley, I appreciate what you are doing, and may your paths be graced with favor. So, I stand before you all today to give a keynote speech for this program with the theme, Fostering Sustainability, Women and Leadership with Technologies. I recognize all the esteemed guests here. I appreciate the inductees, the summit attendees too, and the honorary recipients, and of course the chief executive officer of the initiative, and other distinguished guests. I have titled what I want to say today as being curious about women, but I dovetailed to the aspect of tech and how women can sustain leadership. The opening statement of Mr. Kingsley, he reiterated the fact that women should do more. Part of the themes I'm going to discuss today revolves around who takes women seriously. And I'm happy we have youths here. By the time I'm done with that, I'm sure they will leave here knowing that are women really taken seriously? If we are taken seriously, why? Why does it matter? And if it matters, what is the takeaway from that? Of course, I'm from the university. I teach politics. But here, I won't go the route of the way we teach in class, so else we wouldn't live here. But I have some talking points. I'm going to reel out some of them, but quickly match them together. Of course, I'm going to interrogate the fact that why should we be curious? Why is it important for us to interrogate curiosity? Especially the nexus between that with sustainable leadership. We'll also look at the buzzword. What are the buzzwords from this theme? The buzzwords are sustainability, leadership, and then technology. After that, I will address what is the result of this curiosity. Then I'll also dwell on case studies to use to justify what I'm saying today. And finally, we'll look at some takeaways. I am standing here today, maybe as a leader in my own guise, from the field of political science as an academic, because just like Mr. Kingsley said and the esteemed mommy that spoke earlier, I came from a family where there is no gender. I say no gender as a family of 7 girls initially before my brothers came along. My father never, in fact, I grew up, even when we go to watch football matches with him, I didn't realize I was a woman. So that helped me, that prompted me to know that I could get to any height. The hindrance of being a woman wasn't there. So that was a springboard for me. So with that, I could say that from my home, I was taken seriously. Being a woman was a serious business. So with that, I'm tying it to what I'm saying here today. So the first thing that is key is that from this theme, it is necessary for us to know that women's full participation and progress in tech, which I want to be specific about, is necessary for sustainable leadership. Because in most organizations today, leaders are required to balance the scale. So for me here, curiosity transcends the passive assumptions to meaningful insights and actions, which allows us to do what? One, to understand the biases and lived experiences of women innovators, creators, and leaders. It also allows us to explore the new pathways that make this industry inclusive. It also makes us to have a look at the leadership models as is grounded in sustainability, collaboration, and empathy. We have to empathize with each other, especially for women, as much as the bane is not for us to be seen as victims, but active actors in the game of things. So sustainability, the easiest definition of it is thinking long-term to protect our planet and ensure prosperity for generations to come. Women leadership, therefore, tied to that, concerns diversity, enriching innovation, and strengthening communities. And technologies, for me now, means equalizing tool that can bridge gaps and expand opportunity. This is very key because I come from National Open University, where we are removed from our students, but we still do interface. It is flexible, and you can learn at your pace. So you could see that technology is very key, and technology on its own is very poignant in what I want to speak today. So what does it do? It helps us to achieve a truly sustainable future, where we have to ask, as I'm going to ask you all today, where are the women? Of course, the women are here. The women are doing their bit. But are we doing enough? In the enough, how do we measure it? Or how do we have an upscale? In this text, or in this speech, of course, I narrowed it to the maritime, aviation. We have tech bases, but I won't bore you with that. But from my review and then interrogating this, what was uncovered was the hidden gender dynamics and power imbalances, which is necessary for us to understand. If we don't understand the hidden gender dynamics, we will not be able to understand how it privileges masculinity in the social system. We won't even understand how it makes women complicit, how it makes women adaptable, how it makes women endure the fact that, even if a man is in front, or if a man is in power or in leadership, it should appear so. But we can see a he for she leading this initiative, Mr. Kingsley and a host of other men who support the cause of women. So what is the result of this curiosity? We see patriarchy. Patriarchy cannot be overflogged, but I'm going to explain that. But patriarchy is not only about men. We also have women who are complicit. I won't be tired of mentioning the sustainability, the transformative leadership, and then now I'm going to talk proper about taking women seriously. Let me begin this now by saying the making and keeping of all. If you are uncurious about what happens to women, issues to interrogate about the power dynamics that I said, because I'm in political science, I have to come from that angle. Whatever we do, there is that power underlining every discussion, every aspect of life. If we don't do that, it's serving somebody's purpose. It's serving somebody's political purpose, just like Mr. Kingsley mentioned the decimal or paltry number of women in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. It doesn't represent the number of women. You see just a paltry four, and then in the Senate, the number is very minimal. So in reiterating the fact that we should take women seriously, it transcends applauding women, but asking them that in whatever leadership positions they are in, how have they sustained it? How have they pulled someone up? At every minute, one-on-one, what do women do? I want to cite Cynthia Enlio. She's one of the international feminists in international relations and political science. Her focus, she studies, of course, her focus is, she looks at the power play, most especially the complicity, and the fact that women's positions, every aspect of women have been cheapened. So how have women made cheap? How do we transcend the making of women being cheapened? How do we look at that? So that's her focus. So I'm going to take from her recent book, not too recent, it was published in 2017, The Big Push, Pushing and Challenging the Persistence of Patriarchy. She questioned the fact that women have become adapted. They have continued to endure patriarchy. Why did she question that? She's questioned that because she said patriarchy is made up of men and women who have come to accept the complicity of operating how things are. Let's allow things to be as they are. Mr. Kingsley posed a question here saying, it was Natasha yesterday, what if it's me tomorrow? What if it's you? What are we doing? Of course, there were various voices. In the academia, we wrote articles. Maybe we didn't do road walks, but we are there. But we still had backlash from people, men and then women too, saying, it will do. Do we really do? I mean, should it be so? Shouldn't our voices be heard? So the essence of this is for us to question the times we have endured what we shouldn't endure when our positions as women have been questioned. But Cynthia Elio went on to say sustainability is a positive thing, really, because it is a reference point with which to measure whether any practice or policy is worthy of our support. So, but how then do we measure sustainability? Just a little example from the sustenance of this program, the empowerment of women, young girls, the awards given for the good works you are doing in your communities, our respected mothers. How do we choose to perpetuate it? That's the essence of this talk. That's the essence of this gathering. So for this sustenance, or the sustenance of this leadership, or gatherings like this, or talks like this that make us interrogate whether to take women seriously or not, and then if we do take women seriously, making them realize that they matter as much as the men matter, because it's about both, because you can't clap with one hand. We are all important. The type of sustainable leadership we are advocating here is that of transformation. It is not the one that the development bodies give, because they just give you what is piecemeal. As much as it elevates or alleviates the conditions of women, the transformative leadership is what is key. And why is that important? Because it challenges the status quo, just as this initiative challenges the status quo. Because it's founded on the fact that we should transcend biological differences and ideologies that limit women. we should also transcend cultural injustice by the society as a whole and by women in particular. Now, let me dwell more on taking women seriously. I had said earlier when I started, I said I was taken seriously by my parents because in our house, both gender were taken seriously. But the same was not true or might not be true for other women. But I'm sure each and every one of us here, if we're not taken seriously, these my young girls wouldn't be in school, all of us wouldn't be here. And this minute I want to pause and know that, lend our voices to the KB girls that were abducted. We pray that they will be returned. We pray that through this advocacy and other activities and initiatives and the voices we lend to their cause, they will realize that they are taken seriously. But having been taken seriously in my house, I went to the university. That was my fresh year, 1993. I thought, because of what I had gone through at home, I just want to use this as an anecdote to explain what I want to say, and then I'll quickly go to other points, and then we'll wrap up. I had thought it would guarantee me being taken seriously. But to my shock, in the first year, I befriended a classmate of mine, or a coursemate of mine, and she invited me to her house. I mean, that was the first time I went to her house. And her father was a professor. Then I didn't know what I wanted to be in life, just as we are dropping, role modeling, and all that. So the prof walked in, and I greeted him. My friend had stepped out to get me a cup of water. So he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I am Ifenyinwa Ogbonna-Nwaogu." No, sorry, I'm putting the Nwaogu now. That's my husband's name, Ifenyinwa Ogbonna. So he said, "Oh, who is your father?" Of course, I told him who my father was. "Oh, he's walking." And then, "Who is your mom?" Oh, I mentioned my mom. I said, my mom retired as a headmistress. He said, "No, I'm not interested in your mom's role. It's your father." I mean, that kind of triggered something. He didn't appreciate my mom. I mean, that was very trivializing, and that was very dismissive. It was the first shocker, that coming from a professor, and then political science at that. But of course, he gave me the push to choose academics. So for my doctorate, especially, I said, I'm going to be a prof like this man. But what I'm trying to say is that for the fact that you're a woman, if it doesn't give you the guarantee that you wouldn't face issues like this, or for men too, but it's more on the side of the woman. So of course, for my doctorate, my thesis was premised on power, and it borders on the forms power takes, who wields it, how is it camouflaged in a way that it doesn't look like power, and in the same way, how is power used, camouflage in the same way that if women are enduring erasure, if they are enduring minimization, if they are enduring not being taken seriously, how is it that power plays that you do not notice it? What was unraveled was the fact that women and men prefer to think and then appeal to stereotypes, of course, gender roles. They appeal to it by seeing it as cultural. They don't see it as political. So when you are not taken seriously as a woman, it is political, it is not cultural. Just like I said, from the home, I was appreciated, I was valued, you are valued. So that political undertone, the power play, the camouflage, is what we should interrogate in our everyday lives and notice it as we apply curiosity in all we do. Why is it that maybe most establishments, secretaries are women? Why is it in the academia you have women in some fields, but you still have the limitations are there? Why is it that just like in the political sphere, you have a minimal number of women? Is it cultural? Don't we have sound women? Are you all not intelligent? Don't we have an array of them? Why is it that Natasha's case is different? Why is sexual harassment an issue? Why are men not harassed sexually? These are questions curiosity helps you to interrogate. And by the time we interrogate all this and apply the myriad of these issues, we will then uphold the essence of taking women seriously. That said, I'm going to go back to Matricia McFadden and then Enlio again, who reiterated that the split experiences of women is key. That's why we have to take them seriously. It also helps us deepen the understanding of men's ideas, decisions, and actions. Once we understand that, it will help us know how to navigate and then also know how to be complementary in our relationships and in our actions with them. But she also reiterated or put a caveat saying that being taken seriously as a woman is not only about reward being bestowed on you or the award being given to you. Before you got that accolade, you had done something in your community. You had given back to the society. It is not also about being liked and disliked. I know issues I have in the university. If some things happen and I query it or interrogate it, so the feminist has come. It's not about feminism. It's about interrogating things that are not good. It's about the erasure of women. It's about not taking the roles of women important. It's about trying to exclude women. Being taken seriously also includes being listened to. As you are listening to me now, I'm sure there's a takeaway. If I didn't have anything to impart, I wouldn't be here. So with this definitely we should decry the fact that, oh, women are not invited for functions or as keynote speakers or in whatever field they are unless they are non-existent. So if you know what you are doing and then you have achieved it, you can also play the same role a man plays. Being taken seriously also dwells on the fact that your actions are weighed. Mr. Kingsley said here that all the women given awards to or being honored or that will be inducted, all their actions have been weighed. So for us to transcend and not really beyond being apart with men, but being in the forefront, our actions have to be weighed, just like the same way the consequences that come from our inactions will also come to the fore. Well, for me to draw home the point, as much as I've been putting anecdotes and as I talk, I want to use an example of the women in the tech industry. These case studies, well, I'm going to look at their tech innovation. What are the things that motivated them? What are the challenges they face? What is their support system like? How was their childhood? What was the prop like? And as role models, what do we have to take away? Of course, we have Ogbonna-Nwaogu. We have Ifenyinwa. Ogbonna-Nwaogu is the tech expert that has the piggy vest. And then we have the Google developer, which is Aden Lokun, that means the Yoruba name. Then we have Farah Ashiru. She, of course, founded Okra. It's a fintech company that accesses financial data and builds better financial products securely. Are women. That's why I isolated the 8 of them. We have Abimbola Alale, the first Nigerian woman to lead a satellite company. She has also been in the forefront of improving broadband access, space communication, and national security system. We have Adaora Nwodo. She has provided a wide range of resources and programs to support individuals. She's one of the new generation tech voices, inspiring Africans to embrace cloud computing. These are women, young women who all started like you. So as I read out their names and mention some of the things they have founded, like they are into Piggyvest. So I'm sure some of you know about Piggyvest. So it will do you good, even after this speech, to go check her website, check the things she does. It will motivate you. We have Chioma. She's the founder of TechHer. Her platform trains women in digital communication. Her influence goes beyond coding to shaping women on how to use digital tools. As I mentioned this, Mr. Kingsley and others, I hope you can see that there are women doing enough. Of course, it can be like a drop of water in an ocean, but these women are there. Having said that, I want to look at what motivated them. I'm going to zero in on Ogbonna-Nwaogu. She said as a child, she fell in love with computers and coding when she was a little because her father got it for her. So that challenge made her go into computing. So it's very necessary as mothers, as fathers, that we give that push to our children. You can see, just like, even while because I said I'm from a family of 10, my brothers came last. My father will always, even when I finished first degree, said, there's still, you can still go higher. I did second degree, said, no, in fact, you have not started. So you see all of us get it, and then you see where it has gotten me. So we need to encourage our girl daughters as much as we encourage the men too. We need to make them feel that they are serious, they are taken seriously, which was the main concept which is tied around my speech. I also want to cite that of Oduayo. She said she was insatiable with knowledge as she was growing up. Her parents kept propping, telling her she was more than good enough. She could do it. And you see her embracing this tech aspect of her life. So you can see why I'm reiterating this aspect is the fact that, of course, tech appeared to be way out for women. But you can see women who have transcended it, the limitations to be innovative. They are proving their leadership in this sector. And they have also updated the fact that women, once they are supported, educated, and included, they can scale any mountain. So to nurture these achievements of these women, or to nurture whatever goodwill initiatives we have for women, it is key to sustain it. Because like we've been saying, it's positive. So whatever is positive has to be pushed forward. You have to pay it forward. The first is that it is good to do that because it creates inclusive pathways. It makes the advocacy for women inclusion, it makes it sound serious. It helps the redesigning of corporate cultures. In the corporate world, organizations or institutions where apparently it appeared previously, of course it's reducing now, male-dominated, it shows that there could be inclusivity. So the inclusion of women is there, as from the examples of these 8 women have isolated, who have scaled whatever mountain that appeared to exist. It also supports leadership development. It also aids championing policies. So that said, I want to reiterate just excerpts from what the Piggyvest lady and the innovator of Harry Carrier, that is Adenulokun, said. They asked her, what pushed you? What is it that you want to leave for the future generation? I'm going to quote her specifically. She said, the reason I decided to do this was because I can. So as young girls seated here, just know you can. I believed I can because beyond the support of my parents from home, I knew I could be up there. Even from the PhD years that were very taxing, the belief that you can will keep pushing you and keep making you get there. She said the belief reminded her that she could make a positive impact. That of Adora, she said, I will replicate the guiding role that I have received. You recall I said she got that push from her family, her siblings. And what does she want to do? She said, I will guide and nurture tech enthusiasts. And I need to tell you, young girl seated here, or any other person here, in her website, she has a link where you could click, fill in forms, and then she will assist you. You could try that. If you don't know her name, Piggy Vest, or Nexa Skill, that is Adora. So that is, if your emails are here, maybe when they forward it to you, you could do that. So the essence of this, she said, is for right guidance, which encapsulates all we've been saying here. It will help you all kickstart your career. She also publishes articles on software engineering, productivity, and career growth. And she has a YouTube channel, Ogbonna-Nwaogu TV, so you could visit that. Having said that, for want of time, of course, this is an abridged version of what is written down. I hope we're taking away the fact that I have started by saying, who takes women seriously? Should women be taken seriously? Indeed, women should be taken seriously. And in taking women seriously, I had reiterated the fact that it transcends rewards, it transcends accolades, but the fact that you stand for who you are, for the fact that you speak out against exclusivity, for the fact that you speak out against your being trivialized, or your voices not being heard, or your voices being shut down, or your experiences, for example, the experience of Natasha that we keep giving in contemporary times. That's how, once we stand up for that, women will be taken seriously, our matters will be taken seriously, and just like the women in the fintech and every one of us here who are leaders and achievers and those who believe in women, will be leading in a large scale. Whether we are innovators in our various guises, it will fuel policies of change, and in the end, the bane, which is sustainable leadership, will be achieved. And a very key point I want to leave, that for us to get to this stage and for us to sustain this, is very key that we are creative and then we have resilience. Thank you.